On Thursday, November 3rd, people gathered near the corner of First Avenue Northeast and Co Road Northeast in Cedar Rapids, where just a day prior, Jeremy Danky Mitchell, an unarmed black man, was stopped by Cedar Rapids Police Department. That's where they say an unexplainable altercation happened that ended with Mitchell being shot and wounded by the officer's service gun. Mitchell then crashed into several vehicles on Co College property. Officers say that the gunshots were due to the altercation but cannot explain the altercation or reasons for the traffic stop. At this time, the dashcam footage of the incident is being reviewed by the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation and the Lynn County Attorney's Office, but family and friends of Mitchell want answers. Those close to Danky say that he was a good person, cared about doing the right thing, and always had love in his heart for everyone around him, and that the story that the police officers are giving just doesn't add up.
We are questioning them about what they did.
What happened to him was unjust.
Danky in this community wasn't a troublemaker or whatever they perceived him to be. Whatever took place that night when they stopped him, whatever was in their mind that they entrapped for him to be, wasn't it. One thing about Danky, man, he cared about his family, and he cared about being the right person, being the man God called him to be, but also doing the right thing. And for this man to be in the predicament that he ended up in, unlawfully and wrong, is just out of character. Because one thing about it, when you hear the name Danky, when the people hear the name Danky, they already know what kind of man he is and what kind of characteristics he holds.
We want to raise awareness so we can answer. Put it on the internet and stuff.
Oh, we're on it. It's on there. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let you go,
We're basically out here because my uncle was wrongfully shot by the Cedar Rapids Police Department on Monday night. And we want answers, we want the dash cam, we want to find out what's going on, but most of all, we want justice. It's very hard for me being his niece, not being able to see my uncle at his house or just on a regular basis, and now having to go to the hospital every day and see him laid up in a bed is very heartbreaking. Why I'm out here is because I don't want this to be blown over. I don't want this to be swept under the rug. This is a serious issue that we need to address. We need to find out what happened, and we need for the police to release the dash cam. We also need Code College to release the footage that they have as well.
Release the footage! Release the footage!
He ended up here in the parking lot right here. This is where his car finally stopped at. He hit a police car at the intersection up here. So this is where the incident finally happened, and they took him to the hospital.
Release the footage!
And the images that the media are portraying him to be are not true. My uncle is very non-confrontational. He is a law-abiding citizen, hard-working family man, and he would never assault anyone, let alone a police officer.
And just to hear what the situation that took place, it's very shaky. Because one thing about it is I know is that whatever took place, he wasn't in the wrong. And whatever's going on with him is not due to anything he did, but it was whatever the misconception they had in their mind. Danky is nothing but a loving person. And whoever knows Danky loves him because of who he is and the characteristics he holds.
The Cedar Rapids Police Department claims to understand some of the requests for more information voiced by some of the members of the community with regards to the officer-involved shooting. When questioned, they replied, "As with any investigation, there is a legal process that must be followed with regards to the collection, review, and analysis of evidence. At the same time, interviews and statements must be completed." What could they be hiding behind 0 reasons for a traffic stop, an unexplainable altercation, and one unarmed man in critical condition, and investigations and interviews family and friends don't have time to wait for? Keep it right here. This is Robert Earl.
He was a thug. And they made it sound like, you know, they pulled him over, he fought with the police officers, and then the police were right for shooting him. When really what happened was he was coming home from work, and he got pulled over, and the officer asked him to get out of his car. And he said, "I know my rights, I'm not going to get out." He said, "I have my license and my registration right here, why would you want me to get out?" And he said, "Get out, sir, get out." And he was like, I'm not going to get out. And I know my uncle, he probably thought it was safer for him in his truck than to get out. So the officer tried to yank him through the window, and he was like, get off me like this. And I guess the officer just started shooting 4 times. And they said he fled, but he didn't flee. What the doctor said probably happened was that he didn't have control of his body, something like that. So we just want everyone to know that he's not what people are saying. That didn't happen. So we just want people to know the real story.